What's going on, guys? It is Ominator bringing you another video, and in this video I'm going to bring you a tutorial on how you can make thumbnails like Ricegum using Photoshop. Without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So here I have a picture of Ricegum. I just took a screenshot from one of his videos because that's usually how he finds the base of one of his thumbnails. Just goes through the video, finds a nice thumbnail that represents the video, and just puts that as his base of the thumbnail. Now just ignore that activate Windows thing in the bottom right corner because, you know, I'm broke as shit and can't afford real Windows. So the first thing you want to do is go to the left and go to the lasso tool and make sure it's on polygonal lasso tool because that is probably the easiest one to use. Then what you want to do is start cropping out his body, and by doing this you just, you know, trace around it. Now I'd recommend that you cut through his body rather than trying to get all of his body and like cutting the background like this, for example, because, you know, it looks cleaner when you're adding the effects to the person. Now I already have him cut out, as you guys can see, and I didn't add any part of the background into it, so I'm good there. Now the first thing you want to do to the picture is add brightness and contrast because he likes to make it pop out and make like the picture stand. So go to the bottom and create a new adjustment layer, go up to brightness and contrast. Now the brightness, I don't think I'm going to adjust that because the picture is already bright with the lighting from the video. So I'm going to leave that at 0 and I'm just going to increase the contrast. So I'm probably going to go with around 50. As you can see, it makes a huge difference. It makes him pop out a bit more, which is what we want so that it catches the eye of the people viewing the thumbnail. Now the next step is making the text. So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to do Ricegum thumbnail tutorial. There you go. Just line it up wherever you want that. So I think this is good. And now what you want to do is start adding all the effects. So the first thing you want to do is click on text and make sure you have the text layer highlighted, and then you want to go up to where it says warp text, this little T that's kind of curved and whatnot. Click that, and then you just want to start messing around with the styles and whatever you want, because it doesn't really matter what you choose. So I think I'm gonna go with a arc, maybe lower the bend a bit. You can change the distribution so this looks nice. Actually, I'm gonna go with this arc. Alright, I think that looks nice, and that's pretty much what you want to do. Now if you notice on most of his thumbnails, he has one or two of the words as a gradient. So what you want to do is pretty much just copy that text by clicking Ctrl J with it highlighted, and then remove the words that you don't want to have the gradient on. So for example, I don't want to have the word Ricegum and tutorial. I want to keep it on the word thumbnail. So now what you want to do is then double click that layer where it only has the one word. Then this should pop up. Then the one thing you want to do is go to gradient overlay, click that, and then you should be presented with this. What you want to do is make the opacity 100%. You want to make sure that the blend mode is on normal, and then you can choose whatever type of gradient you want. I'm just going to go with this default one that they have. Maybe remove this orange, bring the yellow up. Oops. Okay, so now I got it figured out. Got the yellow, click OK. Then you can mess around with the angle to see which way you want it coming from. So 90 degrees would make the yellow at the top and the orange at the bottom. 270 would make it yellow at the bottom, orange on top. And then obviously 180 and then 0. So I think I'm going to go with 270. I like the yellow at the bottom. Then you want to just click OK. Now we can start working on the text that's underneath the gradient, so which is all of the text, which is Ricegum thumbnail tutorial. Double click that. Then you want to click on stroke. Once you click on stroke, you want to make sure that the scale is about 3. Make sure the position is outside, blend mode is normal, opacity 100%. Then you want to make sure the fill type is color, and you want to change the color to black, which makes a little nice black outline around the letters. Then you want to add another stroke by clicking the plus, and then this should make 2 strokes. Then you want to equip that stroke and then make it about more than double of what the previous stroke was. So I'm going to go with 8. Position you want outside again, but this time you want the blend mode to be overlay, because overlay is what makes the nice little like kind of, it makes it a bit of contrast but like blends in the background. I don't know how to explain it, that's just what it does. It makes a cool effect, and you want to make sure the color is on white. Then you want to go to drop shadow because that just makes the text just pop out and make it look more 3D. So you want to make sure the blend mode is normal, color black, opacity 100%. The distance you want to make sure is 0 because if you increase the distance, it's going to make it go down. We don't want that. So distance 0. Now the spread, I wouldn't recommend going over 30% because the spread just increases like the thickness of it. So I'm going to keep it at 20. And then you just want to mess around with the size and however big you want it. I'm going to leave it at 80. There you go. Okay. Now we're going to work on the person. So you want to equip the layer that you have where the person is already cropped out. Then you want to double click that and you want to add a stroke to it. Now you want to make sure that the size is about 7 or actually 10 because it's pretty thick, and you want to make sure the position is outside, blend mode, normal, opacity 100%. This time you want the color to be white because that adds a little nice white outline around the person. Now, if you included a bit of the background, it would outline the background too and just have a little open space, which is why I said to crop inside of the person. And you also want to add a drop shadow on that person. I'm just gonna leave the numbers. You know, you can mess around with it whatever you want. Then click OK. Now we're gonna actually work on the background of the picture. So what you want to do is you want to click on the bottom layer, and the first thing you want to do is add a blur to the background so the background isn't as noticeable. So you want to click on the bottom layer, go up to filter, go to blur, and go down to Gaussian, however you pronounce that, Gaussian blur. Once you click Gaussian blur, just mess around with the radius however you want and pretty much figure out what blur you like. So as you guys can see, with 0.1 you can notice the background, but if we move it up a bit, you can start noticing that the background becomes blurry and you don't really notice it as much. So I'm going to leave it at 5.2. Now on some of his thumbnails, what he adds is a gradient overlay, so it adds like a nice gradient colorful background. So to do that, you want to double click it, go to gradient overlay, and choose whatever type of gradient you want. I think this looks nice. Change the angle to however you want. I like that. But now you want to mess with the opacity. So you don't want to make it such a thick color. You want to blend it in with the background. So about 40% looks really nice and just makes you see the background, but also adds that nice color effect on top of it. Then just click on OK. One thing that he always adds to his thumbnails is a border. Now to make this border, you want to go all the way to the top, create a new layer and make sure it's at the top. Then you want to go on the left and click the mark you tool, however you pronounce that, rectangular, and pretty much just go to one of the edges and just make a nice little rectangle along the edge. Doesn't matter how big. And then you want to make sure that white is your main color and click Alt Backspace. Now that you be getting a white square or white rectangle on one of the sides, just click Control D to deselect it. And then to make it even on all corners, all sides, just click Control J, which will copy that layer, and then you just bring it over to the other side. Control J again, bring it to the middle. Now if you want to make it exactly 90 degrees, go to Edit, Transform, and go to rotate 90 degrees clockwise. Then just bring it to the top. Control J again, bring it a bit to the sides, then highlight both the layers at the top, Control J again, and bring it down to the bottom. There. Now it's even on all sides. Now it's not white, so what you want to do is you want to merge all the layers together so you don't have to apply the effect to each individual layer. Right click, merge layers, and then you want to go up to where it says normal, click on that and go down to overlay. Now this adds this nice kind of overlay effect to the sides. Now to make the thumbnail pop out and make it look more 3D, double click that layer with the border and go to drop shadow. This will add a nice little shadow around the edge, making it look like a 3D effect. Now you don't want it to be so big, so I'm going to reduce the spread a bit and make the size a bit smaller. I think that looks really nice. Okay, now something that he does, not on all of his thumbnails, but most of his thumbnails, is a kind of echo effect. Now, what I mean by this is he pretty much just copies the background or copies the text or image and pretty much just expands it and keeps it behind the main one, puts it underneath it, and pretty much just reduces the opacity. So I'll show you how to do that right now. So I don't like where the text is pretty small, so I'm gonna actually move his body a bit to the left. Now as you guys can see, his face Now, but it's blurred out, so it looks fine, but I'm still gonna cover it with the text. So if you have two different texts with the thumbnail, you have to highlight both of them, then only you can move it to make it all even. So now I'm gonna center that, click Control T. Now I'm gonna hold Shift and Alt because doing that will make the image locked in that place, and then it will expand it, and it won't be like a free transform, like for example this, where you can like squish it and everything. It'll keep it like in the proper square. So undo, hold Alt and hold Shift and make it bigger, and that looks nice. Okay, now what I was talking about, the echo effect, so I'm gonna do it to the text. So I'm gonna pretty much highlight both the text, click Control J, then bring it all the way down just before the background layer. So here, then what you want to do is you want to keep both the layers highlighted and click Control T. Then you want to do the Alt Shift again and just make it as big as you want. Now it doesn't matter if it cuts off the thumbnail because it's not really that important. So I like this size. Alright, click Enter. Then you want to go up to where it says opacity and pretty much decrease that to around 10 to 20. So that's 10, that's way too little, so I'm going to do 15. That looks nice. Now that's pretty much how you guys make a thumbnail like Ricegum. Now it's really simple to make, only takes about 10 minutes to make it. Now if you're going to do like more pictures, obviously it's going to take more time, and usually he fills out the places of just empty spaces with a bunch of emojis because that's what he does. Now, I wouldn't recommend, going out copying Ricegum's thumbnails. You always want to have your own style, which is why I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, smash that like button. But before the video ends, we have to do today's shout out, which is the first shout out that I'm ever going to do on the channel. Today's two shout outs goes to Lethal Fusions and Just Dash. The link to their channels will be in the description below. Go check their channels out. Now that's pretty much going to be it for this tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and turn on post notifications to never miss when I upload a video. Anyway guys, it's been Ominator, and don't forget to take it easy.
Remember feeling broke as fuck, but now I'm pulling up in Rover trucks. I'm pulling up in Rover trucks now. Remember these bitches ain't wanna fuck. Now she gave me head outside of Toys R Us. These bitches suck and fuck me now. When you see me, look, don't touch. All my shooters ballin', playin' for the